Now, let's talk about another skill set that a data engineer needs to have. I call it the good understanding of programming languages. So, there are two main programming languages that I feel like a data engineer needs to have a very good understanding of. One is the SQL, and the other one is Python. I mean, if you have other programming languages like Java, Scala, C++, that is also great. But I'm just telling you the main ones that you need to have. Like I explained, as a data engineer, you need to work with various source systems and interact with them. So, with relational databases, the SQL language is the main programming language that those relational databases work with. So you have to, as a data engineer, you need to have this strong understanding so you can easily query those database systems to get the data that you need. And also in the destination systems, when it comes to really preparing the data and making it easy for consumption for your end users, a good understanding of SQL is also needed. Let's talk about the other programming language that I mentioned, which is Python. The reason why I suggest a beginner to learn Python is because number one, it's very popular in the market, and secondly, it's quite versatile. So Python, if you look up Python on your own, you will notice that it is a programming language that is used to build applications, to build websites like C++, Java, but additionally is quite heavily used to do some more functional programming, which is like data analysis and data science use cases. In essence, you get that, one language to do all those various things, and that's why it's quite popular. So, as a data engineer, your main focus is to understand a lot of the basics of the scripting side or some object oriented programming, but not much, but as well as understand really heavily the data analysis capabilities of the Python. There are various libraries that in Python are designated for data analysis. So, like for example, in the scripting side, I've used Python to really automate some data pipeline that involves, okay, triggering certain executions based on certain events or certain data types. So it's good to have this knowledge of Python scripting so you can implement these things and you can have a very robust pipeline. Secondly, in the aspect of the data analysis portion, Python really helped me when I have to implement certain complex business transformations. Let's say someone tells you that you need to really, look at the mean of the prices and do some complex transformation and apply it to these rows in the table. These are something that Python that can do very well compared to SQL. So, and additionally, when I talk about the some of the target systems that you work with, especially in the big data world, Python is the language that is being used on some of these systems. So it's very good to know and understand them. Another main technical skill that a data engineer needs to have is knowledge of ETL tools. So, what are ETL tools? ETL tools are extract, transform, and load, and these are low code software applications that various companies have built to make the life of a data engineer a lot easier, because now you don't have to write 10,000 lines of code to move a data from one system to another. Rather, you can, with a visual designer, you can literally drag and drop and connect some lines, and then you click run. All of a sudden, the data flows from that system to the other. So it's a very good, efficient alternative, and it leaves a local footprint for data pipeline design and automation. And as a data engineer, you have to really, based on the where you're coming from or where you want to head towards, or based on the market demand, you need to find some of the most popular ETL tools and have a good grasp on it. So some common ETL tools right now are, in the big data space, you have Spark or Databricks, which is a cloud managed version of Spark. It's quite popular for doing a lot of big data transformations where it's massively scalable. Secondly, the on-premise data ETL tools like IBM Data Stage, you have Informatica. These are really have a long history of usage. They have been in the business for close to 10 years now, and a lot of customers use that. They have a lot of complexities to it. But if you want to have a good knowledge of that, you can definitely specialize your whole career in those. And also in the cloud, you have Azure Data Factory, which I have used, is quite great. You have Microsoft SSIS. So all these ETL tools, and there's many more that have a very great advantages and disadvantages for each of them, and it all depends on your project and the company that you're working for, what they have. But the other thing to note is also that in every ETL tool, a good understanding of the fundamentals of, like I told you, the system architecture and the programming language like SQL and Python will always be needed, because those are the fundamentals that will lead you in the long run, that will help you design and handle any complex scenario regardless of the ETL tool. So having a good knowledge of the first two skills that I mentioned, system design and the programming languages, is the way to go. But having a good ETL tool background and specializing in one of or multiple of them would definitely also help you, because companies, they require people that have good knowledge of that, and you need to use those tools to design your data pipeline. Finally, another advantage of using ETL tools is it's very easy for someone to support those when someone is gone. It's very easy to know look at within 5 minutes. You can know, okay, look at how this data pipeline is working. So that's another point I wanted to bring up.